ahead and call the meeting to order. Any adjustments to the agenda?
Have one adjustment. We're going to add 5A, consideration of interlocal agreement with Putnam County.
Students of the month?
Okay, this is the first go around as students. Since I'm standing over here, I'm going to pull my mask down so they can hear what the kids hear, if you don't mind. The first one that we have tonight is South Putnam Central Elementary, and the student of the month is Wyatt Bell. Wyatt, are you here? Why don't you come on up? You stand right there if you want. Oh, you know what? We want to be on camera. Come over here. Let's do it. Okay.
Of course.
Yeah, and that way. So, yeah, you just stand right there, Wyatt. And too close to you. Wyatt is a 5th grader, and you're in Mrs. Perkins' class. And Mrs. Perkins wrote, Wyatt comes to class every day with a smile on his face and a desire to learn. He is dedicated to being the best version of himself and puts a great amount of effort into everything he does. Wyatt is supportive and collaborative with his peers, which makes him a great role model in class. Wyatt is a positive influence on others and is always willing to lend a helping hand to his teachers and classmates. I am proud to be Wyatt's teacher and look forward to another year of learning. So we want to congratulate Wyatt for being the South Putnam Central Elementary Student of the Month. I won't shake your hand, okay? Congratulations. The next student of the month is from Fillmore Elementary School, and it's Gabrielle Schurter. Is she here? Did I say the name right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, Gabrielle is a 5th grade teacher in Joe McCann's class. I'll read this real quick. It says, Mr. Bernhardt and South Putnam School Board members, it is my pleasure to introduce you to Gabrielle Schurter, 5th grader at Fillmore Elementary. She is our September student of the month. Gabby is the daughter of Robert and Abby Schurter, and she has a younger brother, Wyatt, and an older brother, William. Gabby consistently demonstrates our school's core values of being engaged, respectful and sincere, and her positive attitude toward her learning, her school responsibilities, and her relationship with peers and teachers. She embraces learning. She works hard to apply what she already knows to new ideas. She takes time to really think about what she is learning and asks questions when she needs clarification. Gabby sticks to the work until she is satisfied. She is organized and careful about her work and always produces detailed, neatly completed assignments. Gabby's upbeat and charming personality adds brightness to our school days. She has a good sense of humor and playfulness that are fun to see. She is a loyal friend and treats her peers and teachers with respect and kindness. Gabby is a trustworthy and sincere individual who is well liked by all. For all these reasons, I believe Gabby deserves this honor for her actions, attitudes, and accomplishments. She is a great person, a fantastic student, and a wonderful role model for all of us at Fillmore Elementary School. Joe McCann, 5th grade teachers. We want to congratulate Gabrielle Schurter for being the Fillmore student. And if you're watching this, congratulations.
Can we take it for you?
Yes, that'd be fun.
I think she is watching.
Okay. Yeah, I'll bet she is watching. The South Putnam Middle School Student of the Month is Tessa Mullen. Tessa, are you here?
She had a cross-country meet, and then she had a volleyball game to go to. Her football or her brothers.
Okay. Well, that's all right. Mr. Turpin is the one that nominated Tessa, and it says, Tessa Mullen enters math class each day with a smile on her face. She is a kind and caring young lady with a great attitude and tremendous work ethic. Tessa has been a tremendous role model for other students in class. She is always prepared and actively engaged in the lesson while leading others to be engaged in their learning as well. Tessa has earned my recommendation as Student of the Month, Mr. Turpin. Congratulations, Tessa, as being the South Putnam Middle School Student of the Month. And South Putnam High School Student of the Month is Jared Bunch. Bunch. Jared Bunch. See here? Jared, come on up. See him right over there. Okay. It says, this is Miss Jones, the one that nominated you. What grade are you?
Sophomore.
You're a sophomore. Okay. It says, I had Jared as a freshman, and since last school year, he has become an exceptional student in my English class. He works hard every day and always asks questions just to make sure he understands everything. He keeps a positive attitude and never complains or argues. He takes pride in completing work on time and to the best of his ability. Even when assignments are challenging, he is determined to solve the problem without cutting corners. In less than a year, he has completely transformed as a student and an individual. I am proud of his academic achievements and even more proud of his show of true character. And this, Ms. Jones. So we want to congratulate Jared for being the South Putnam High School Student of the Month. Congratulations. It's always fun to read these because it just exemplifies the kind of students that we have at South Putnam. And I can tell you that certainly it's been my experience that the reason that these students have achieved so much is because the kind of home environment that they've had and supporting families. And we love that. You know, we love you families doing that. It's a great thing when you raise young men and women that you can be proud of and are high achievers. And we just hope that you stay there every day of their life with them, supporting them, because it really is a nice thing to have families like you. So thank you very much. I will say, I know it's a school night, so you're all welcome to stay for the entire board meeting, but a lot of times people need to get kids home, and so if you want to get up and head out, please feel free to do so. If you want to stay and watch the rest of the meeting, that's great, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good job, Jared.
Consideration of approval of minutes of the regular meeting August 12th, 2020, August 19th, 2020, and executive session on August 12th.
Move to approve.
Second.
You made a motion to approve, Larry seconded, all those in favor?
We have to also payroll.
Yes, it also includes August 7 and 21 payrolls.
Well, that's next.
That's the claims.
Oh, I'm sorry. I looked at the wrong one. Apologize.
Next up is approval of claims and payroll from August 7th.
Okay, you have, in your financial package, you have claims 29053 through 29158, and you have the August 7 and 21 payrolls.
There's one for 29134. That's Millennium Linings. And I'm wondering why it's coming out of the CARES Act. Says truck bed liner. That's why I'm asking.
What number is it again? 29 what? That's just the line, right?
Part of it came out of CARES Act money.
Right.
So is there something split off on that? Like 5 or 6% of the total.
Yeah, no, that's not, that should come out of operations, and we'll change that before we post it.
9145. What, that's CARES Act supplies, what does that consist of? 29145.
145 is Quill Corporation office supplies.
It looks like part of it came out of education operations lunch and then.
Oh, it's, I see, it's all Quill Corporation, cafe supplies and Quill Corporation. Supplies, ACT supplies. Oh, they bought a folding tables for lunch. Those are the tables that they have up in the gymnasium to spread the kids out in the cafeteria.
It looks like we also have tables coming out of 29150, different size or.
Yeah, that was a reimbursement. It was an adjustable height work bench table that was purchased, and Courtney wrote that, and we're reimbursing them for it. So it's high school purchased it, but they purchased down there, and so we're reimbursing to add it to the.
So what's it being used for though?
So we bought a couple last year, and then we bought 3 or 4 more this year. They're being basically kind of used as mobile offices in the hallways, since we're not bringing kids into the building. Like Miss Kendall has one in athletics, for example. That way she's got a mobile office out in the hallway that kids can come up to when we're doing business. Same in the main office as well.
Follow up on Anthony from last 29144, what was the time frame on that invoice?
The cracks here.
It changed.
It used to be a tank rental. We had them come get the tank. Now they're charging us for air.
Date was 8/22. 36.
That was the bill date, but it doesn't say the time period.
No, it doesn't.
So on the 19th, we do look into that for the 20th, probably.
I will certainly find out what it is before we pay it. We'll void
So
it.
determine that's the last one if it fits that time.
Yeah, we'll void it otherwise.
The amount the same?
Yeah. Yeah, if it's a duplication.
Anything else, anybody? Make a motion for the claims 29053 through 29158. Payroll for 878.
Wes made a motion to approve the consideration of claims and the payroll from August 7th, 21. Larry seconded. All those in favor? consideration of interlocal agreement with Putnam County.
Okay, we have an interlocal agreement. Putnam County has some CARES dollars that they can share with South Putnam and allow us to purchase some additional items because of COVID. And in order for them to share some of the money that they receive, they have an excess of it that they felt that they couldn't spend themselves. So they offered that to us, and the attorney had drawn up an interlocal agreement, which is a legal tying to their to the county so that they can share that money from their grant with us. And so anything that is purchased will come to you for your approval, but this is just simply an agreement that with your approval, it'll allow us to establish that legal relationship so we can participate in their funds.
They also have to approve the expenditure on the county level, or they won't reimburse us.
Correct.
Motion approved.
Second.
What's made a motion to approve the consideration of the interlocal agreement with Putnam County? Anthony seconded. All those in favor? Consideration of personnel report.
Okay, on the personnel report, there is one retirement, and it is me. I am retiring at the end of this school year, which would be 6/30/2021. So this summer I'll be retiring after serving 44 years at South Putnam. Came out of college and started in '77 and been here my entire career as an elementary principal, teacher, and elementary principal, assistant superintendent, now superintendent for 14 years. And so 44 years is enough. I've reached the age of full Social Security this year. And so I'm really sad to do it, but I'm really happy to be moving on. And my wife babysits our grandchildren daily, and I'm looking forward to that. And so I wanted to give my retirement now in September for the end of the school year so that the next item coming up, they can start in on search committee. So I'm the first one on the list here, the only certified retirement. And then we have new hires, Ralph Wilkerson, middle high school custodian, and Dean Norman, bus driver. On the ECA, we have a whole list of attached, and there are just dozens and dozens of names. It's all of our ECA schedule, and we make that available if you want a copy of that. And that includes all of these different positions. And then volunteers, there are two of them tonight, Drew Bratcher, middle high school volleyball, and J.D. Baronis, middle high school volleyball.
I move to approve the personnel report.
Second.
I move to approve the personnel report.
Rick made a motion to approve the personnel report. Anthony seconded. All those in favor? Consideration of superintendent search company.
Okay, you've done some interviewing, so just need a motion by someone in a second.
Do you want to kind of put out there what? Sure, we've talked with two different organizations to do to provide us services and hire a superintendent. That's something we don't do every day. Well, fortunately, we don't do that every day, and so it's one of those things it's pretty important that we get it right. And so we are the group that we're looking to work with. They hold your hand and make sure that you're legal in every way. They file all the paperwork on your behalf, and what they'll do is they collect those applications, bring them to us. They don't choose anybody. They don't pick anybody for us. But what they do is bring those to us and really help us with the right questions, the right things that we need to be preparing ourselves for this search and for this whole process. So the advantage with the people we did choose or we're going to choose here in a second is they provide a year of mentorship to this new superintendent. They have a large amount of superintendents on staff who are good in finance, good in public relations, good in a lot of areas. And there's a good chance we're going to have a person with limited experience that will be our next superintendent. You know, we may find one with a lot of experience, but it seems like more and more when you look at who school corporations hire, they hire people with 0 to 5 years of experience, just due to the fact that you know, we have so many retiring and then a lot more coming in who are younger. So they're going to give that new superintendent a year of mentorship, basically be on call to help them with anything that they need. Some of those pitfalls that sometimes a rookie in any profession. So that being said, I'm going to move that we hire administrator assistants. They're based out of Brookston, Indiana. Steve Wittenauer is in charge of that group. And so I'm going to recommend that we hire administrator assistants for our superintendent search.
Second.
Craig made a motion to approve administrator assistants for our superintendent search. Larry seconded. All those in favor? Superintendent report.
Okay, I will mention that, as you know, our enrollment continues to change on a daily basis, students in and out. The official count will be taken on September 15th, which is coming up, and then we'll know exactly where we are. Right now, I would guess that we're going to fall somewhere in that 25 to 30 down in students from what we were last year. Now, that total count that we have includes those students that are online. But we're down, I'm guessing, in the 25 to 30, depending on what day, it is, that we're down that many from the number of students that were in their seats last time we took it, the ADM count. So it's an expense that's a concern. If you take, in round numbers, if you take about $6,000 a year per student, and if you're down 30, that's $180,000. That's a good bit of money that we're down. Students that are online, and I think I reported a month ago that we had about 85, and that varies from day to day. We've had a few that have come back from working online and are now in classrooms, and we've had a few that have gone online. So I'm not sure tonight exactly what that number is, but we were at about 85, and at about, I think about 60 of those, were there about 20 in the high school, I think, that were doing online? Something like that, and that would have been about 60 or 65 in K-8 that are doing the online through the Edmonton Academy. And as part of that, that's an expense to the corporation too, because while we're going to get funding for those students, it costs us $250 a month per student to be enrolled in that online academy. And so that's an expense too. So we have to watch our expenses very close this year, but things are going fairly well. We have just had one student in the corporation that has had a positive test, and so and I think that's really good that there's only been one that's been identified. But there are several students that, due to contact tracing, are at home because what happens is if you have a positive, or if someone's been around somebody that maybe is positive or think they may be, then we do contact tracing with people that have been around them, students that have been around them, and then they get sent home for a period of time. So I think we may have 60 or so that just for a few days have been sent home that are counting down the days till they can come back. Say that again?
35.
Okay, well,
Oh, for our building.
just for your building, yeah. And so, okay, 35 now is the latest count here. But at any rate, at various times when somebody comes in contact or there's somewhere where there's a concern, those things are going to happen throughout the next weeks, months ahead while this is happening, that there'll be contact tracing and students that maybe are sitting next to them or something like that. That's the job of the principals to go through and figure out what students will have to be, and the nurses figure out what students will have to be sent home because of their contact tracing of people that have been in close contact with an individual for those various reasons. So those are some of the things that we're dealing with, but really, all things considered, I think things are carrying on much better than I was afraid that they might. A month and certainly 2 months ago, didn't have any idea what this was going to be like in school, and I want to certainly tell my administrators and the nurses, my teachers definitely, that they're doing a great job of taking a tough situation and making it good for the students. And that's the important thing. We want to provide good education, a good environment for our students to learn, and everybody understands this is a tough way to learn. It's a tough situation to be in, but I want to thank all of them for the hard work that they're doing to make this right for the students. And it's just, like I said, more than I could hope for. So far that things have worked out and students are learning, and I'll be perfectly honest, I'd much rather see everybody sitting in class learning every day, because I believe that's the best way to learn, personally. But we're doing bang up job providing an education for the kids that can't be here or have chosen not to be. Their families have chosen that. And so I just want to compliment all of them for their hard work, because we're right on it and working hard every day to make it a success for them. And I'm really proud of all the work that's going into that.
You mentioned the online learning having an additional expense. Can any of that be offset by some of that Putnam County money, possibly?
I think what that money is tagged for is things like cleaning and tables and things that you have to have because of the COVID. I won't say absolutely not, but I don't believe that would qualify as an expenditure.
What about our grant CARES Act? That's what I was thinking too.
Well, that's the CARES Act, regardless of where it's coming from, has pretty much the same guidelines. And that's one of the things I'll check into.
Because that would be an expense that we would never incur had this
Well,
not taken place.
I understand. Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying.
So that money could
And,
be if it is an expense
If-
that's acceptable.
If
Which
it's an
fund will that be
acceptable
put into?
expense, we'll find that out, and we can make a decision to use some of that CARES money that we have available to us for that.
So would it go to the education or the operation?
Well, it's being education, so it'd go into education.
The additional,
It'd go into the fund that we're paying the online expenses to. That's education.
unless state law, our representatives step up to the plate, we're getting less money for those kids that are online to start with. It's not in the brick and mortar buildings.
Currently, as the law is written, online students receive 85% of the funding from the state, and students that are in class receive 100%. So if in round numbers we get $6,000 per student, we get 100% of it for every child that's here, every student that's in class learning. we would get 85% of that $6,000 if under current rules. But everyone at the state has been following. They're all pledging that they're going to change that and up it to 100%, same as the others. Now, that's great, and I certainly hope they will do that, and I certainly hope they'll honor what they're all telling us now. But if you listen to them, they're all in favor of changing the rules. Of course, that'll have to be done through the legislature when they start this next legislative season to make it happen. But at any rate, everyone's saying that that's going to change, and if it does, then at least we won't lose that money on top of anything else.
I have a question, Bruce, about the count day, and I'm not clear, and I'm going to say that I'm sure that you and the board is much up on it, but I had heard something about like the Department of Ed doing something about the count day, whereas you could go back to the previous count day and do something with those numbers.
Well, one of the
that's
one of the
option.
options that they bandied around was, well, let's use last year's, and since the numbers might be lower this year because of COVID and so forth, let's do that. And there was a little talk about that, but I don't, to my knowledge, it didn't go anywhere. And so that, I think that's dead in the water. There was a talk in the last few weeks about moving the count day to December, with the idea of well, by that time, some of these students that are at home learning may be back, and then we take the count, and they'll get full funding. But the last that I've picked up on, at least, is that everyone's in authority at the state is promoting the idea that we're going to change the funding to 100%, and there's no reason to bump the count back to a different day. Like
like I said,
so,
I had just heard.
Right. Yeah, you're right. There's been.
I get inundated with like notices.
At one point.
To say things, it's like, but they never say if they're following through with it.
At one point,
Nothing official's been done.
right. At one point, we were hoping that so that we wouldn't lose funding because this is an unusual year, that they would say, okay, we'll take whatever your ADM was last year and we'll guarantee it this year and do a hold harmless on that. But that didn't go. The idea didn't go anywhere.
Okay, thank you.
And having said that, let me tell you that when the legislature does start up, I have no idea what they'll do. Okay, I just know what many of them have pledged to change. So I hope that they follow through with it.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all I have.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you guys for coming and attending, and everybody online. We appreciate it. I know the numbers